just want to welcome everybody this afternoon. Appreciate you being here. Just proud of our football team for going on the road and taking care of business. A little sloppier than I would have liked for it to have been. Too many penalties, but did have a lot of positives. I thought our kids competed hard, played really, really hard for each other, and defensively, creating 3 takeaways is a big, big deal. So talk about it after the game and go back and watch everything. Led to 17 points, which is huge. I didn't start as fast offensively in either half like we need to, so we have to address that. But thought we continued to play well in the red zone, and that's a key element of our success as well. And just being able to get off the field defensively, get our offense in position to make plays. Special teams was solid. On kickoff return that we didn't cover effectively, but they have an excellent punter, and he does a great job of spraying that ball around. It was an issue for us a year ago. And we were able to address that and got those balls secured, and I thought that was important for field position and just being able to do a great job with that. And Charles Campbell, kicking 3 field goals. He got the Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week, which congratulations to him, and he's done a great job for us so far. But just really hats off to Coach Schiano, excellent football coach, and really you see a big difference in the team since he's been there in a short time, and the way that they play. And so he'll do a great job moving forward. So a lot of respect for him, and knew it was going to be a tough challenge to go there and find a way to keep winning football games, So, but I think as we talk to our team, a lot of things to clean up. Have not played our best football yet. Need to start getting some of these mistakes corrected. But I thought we made progress in things that we've addressed. Continue to tackle well. Continue to play really, really hard. Be more physical at the point of attack. Both sides of the football, I think defensively that's improving. Offensively, we showed signs as well. Staying on our blocks. We'll see more of that. But things that we addressed and worked on this week, I thought the guys responded well. Once we dropped a few balls there in the beginning, we caught the ball much better. Probably the second half of the first quarter on. And once Michael got in rhythm, they gave him some time, and he did a great job. So encouraged by the way our guys responded after a big win week 1 and making sure we stayed locked in and focused. And I thought the guys did a good job of that. And so just go here and we'll kind of list some of the guys from the game, just so you guys know. We go through and pick players of the game. And so offensive player of the game was Peyton Hendershot, a couple touchdowns, and just really blocked well. But had a complete game. Really made challenged him to step up after week 1, and he sure did that. So really proud of Peyton. Jay Williams was our defensive player of the game, but several guys that were candidates for that. Got another interception, tackled extremely well. Just played really, really good. I thought Reese Taylor played. I told him I thought he played his best game as a Hoosier overall, and just really coming into his own as a corner in our program. We're proud of him. But Jalen was our player of the game defensively. And then special teams was Charles Campbell with what he did with all the PATs, which every point matters. You see that in every single game. It's a very, very important part of what we're doing here with special teams. So proud of those guys. And also for our scouts, the effort that they give us every week. Defensive scout team player of the week was DeMarge Lewis, very talented freshman that I see just continuing to get better every single week. Cam Williams did a really good job as well and continues to improve. Ryan Barnes was our offensive scout team player of the week, and just love his effort, love his unselfish mindset. Just the way he's helping his team get better every single day and what he's brought into that. And then special team scout is Joseph Daniels, just another guy that continues to work hard, high character young man, excellent student, does things right on and off the field, and just gives our guys a great effort. Also had several guys, I want to mention some guys that just overall just playing hard in practice. Connor Hole, Carl Ray, Caleb Thomas, and Jeremy Boyd, guys just busting their tails for this team, unselfish, living out LEO, and helping us get better every single week. So that's what it's going to take. We're excited to welcome the Michigan Wolverines to campus on Saturday for a noon kickoff, and a ton of respect for Jim Harbaugh and the kind of coach that he is and the kind of talent that they have on that football team, and one of the top programs in this country, top 25 program, and we're going to have to keep getting better every single time we take the field. So big challenge for us this week as we have a chance to go for opportunity number 3. So I appreciate you guys and ready for questions.
All right, Zach.
You mentioned a couple defensive backs there, and it felt like you guys were able to mix coverages a lot, maybe win just some one-on-one battles that freed Coach Womack up to do kind of different things in the front. Just, I guess, what's the trust level at this point with that secondary when you guys are game planning, knowing that maybe you don't have to give them a lot of help and that frees up linebackers or maybe even rush-ins to be a lot more sort of aggressive downhill?
Yeah, that's really important for us. You want to be multiple schematically. And I think that's one thing we've really tried to become more of, as a defense, and to take some less pressure off certain, calls or techniques. I think that with their ability to play man and zone with both our safeties and our corners, that's a super positive thing for us, and I just love the way they're tackling. I thought Monster, Devon Matthews, we call him Monster, but I thought he played really, really well. Tackled so well, he can cover. Big physical guy. He's got great range. Jamar Johnson, I know he's gotten a lot of notoriety for his interceptions. I thought he played his best game yet since he's been here on Saturday, and just doing everything that he's asked to do. Played with disciplined eyes. They did a lot of stuff now. I mean, there was trick plays and motion into empty and back and forth and quarterback runs and 2 quarterbacks in there at one time and just doing all sorts. I mean, they're doing a lot of things and a lot of movements and misdirection, and you can get your eyes in the wrong place really fast if you're not careful, not locked in. That's where I thought our guys, even though I was disappointed our defense didn't finish and put them away in the fourth quarter like I thought we should. That's something we've addressed and really work hard on. But I did think that they did a really good job in the back end of being disciplined and being able to play, multiple things to be able to protect us in some calls and be more aggressive in others. And so, but you see how much we, have brought those DBs and we'll continue to. That's just what we do. We're an aggressive defense, and so those guys give us that confidence to make those calls, as you're alluding to, and just really proud of them. And Coach Womack's done a great job, orchestrating all that and just kind of, making it, into what it's becoming, and I think that, Jason Jones and Brandon Shelby and Casey Teagard, all 3 of those guys coach different positions within our secondary. So big part of our defense. It's a talented group, and there's many of them there. I already mentioned a few, but Taiwan made a couple of mistakes that he usually does not make, but he also made some great plays. So just proud of that group, and their play is allowing us to keep becoming a better defense every time we take the field.
All right, John, then Peaks.
Obviously, you talked about the reasons you believed in Nick Sheridan when you hired him. It's 2 games into him being the offensive coordinator. Obviously, he's going up against a guy, Don Brown, who's a big name in defensive coordinator circles. What have you seen from Nick in terms of how he's managed things and how he's adjusted, and kind of what would you say needs to improve, or what can you still work on, I guess, going into the 3rd game now?
Yeah, I think he's done a really good job. It's always, there's always growing pains through learning and doing something for the first time. And I feel like that he's adapted, made some, did some things a little differently from week 1 to week 2. Even from the first half to the second half, I thought they really did a good job adjusting. I still want to make sure we find a way to start faster in each of those halves, but just some subtle adjustments. And it's not, a lot of times, it's not major things that you're able to tweak or, dial a certain direction, at halftime or week to week. That is the difference. It's oftentimes those small, subtle things, and it's the right play calling. To me, it's an art. It's not a science. You can do all the study, you can do all the prep, you do give all the data, but just calling, knowing what to call, when to call it at the right time is a big part of this. And it's, I've, as a defensive play caller, time, you get better, and you learn, and but he's an extremely intelligent, super, super sharp, bright young man that he will learn and adapt and grow each and every week, I believe. And that's part of it. That's why, you hire guys like that have have the talent. They just need the opportunity, and then also just I give them that freedom and leeway to be able to grow and learn. And we meet and we talk, and we talked again last night, certain things. And so just feel like that, it's just about, continuing to find ways to stay on the field and get your playmakers of football. And that really what it comes down to offensively, get the efficiency in the red zone is huge. We got to be better on third down. So that's not been an area that we've been good enough in right now, and want to see us continue to work on running the football better. Although we had some good runs and did some good things in the run game at key times, but it's just, there's a lot of variables that go into it. And I just thought we were a little sloppy. The penalties, the snap over the quarterbacks, we haven't had one of those since I've been here that I can remember. And those things don't happen very often. And so that really killed that drive, and some penalties really set us back and did not allow us to finish with more touchdowns. We still got points on those red zone trips, but we still need to continue to get more touchdowns. And so that's really the key. So I just think as he continues to grow, and you need to develop trust in certain players as they prove that they're dependable, that they know where to line up, that they execute when they're called upon. That's a big deal, and he develops that trust in them as a play caller, and the quarterback develops that trust in them as receivers, tight ends, running backs, and you're going to catch the football, and eliminate those drops. And so that's just part of his growth and his leadership. And I think he does a tremendous job. I sit in all those meetings, especially we have a unit meeting, which is the whole offense the day after the game, or it was the day after yesterday because of a little bit different schedule this week with the voting tomorrow. And usually it's a day after we have an off day on Sunday. And so, but whenever we meet that first time, just does a great job of teaching from the game and using video, and just really doing a great job of articulating the things that we need to address in the right way, in the right tone, accountability, toughness, and love, which is just, you talk about your core values. Those core values don't just, they don't just stick out there for, recruiting purposes, or when I talk to the public. It's how you function on a daily basis. And so to me, our meetings should reflect that. And how he leads the offense should reflect that. And how Coach Womack leads the defense should reflect that. And how Casey leads the special teams should reflect those core values, and how we talk to our players and hold them accountable, and in a very hard, tough way. It's just wrapped up into an understanding that it's out of love, and what we want is all of us to be at our best. So I think he does a great job of that. And so I've been encouraged by that, and I expect him to lead that way. And I think that's why you'll see us continue to prove each week.
All right, Peaks and Jim Coyle.
Hey, Tom. Couple quick questions. How can you update the status of Miles Marshall and David Allison, and talk about what happened with the onside kick situation?
Yeah, so the first two guys hoping to, don't know for sure. Usually by Wednesday we should know of their status. Sometimes it goes even into Friday, but hoping with these guys that we'll know after a couple of days of practice. We're going to be practicing this evening, and then we'll practice on Wednesday morning. So that to me is, still to be determined. Hopefully hope to get them back. And then onside kick. I tell you what, I thought they did a really good job. We called timeout to try and show, or to get a chance to see them show their hand at what they were going to do. They ended up in a very similar call that we expected, but they shifted 4 different times to get into that. And I felt like we didn't get everybody in the perfect position. Still thought we should have had it. I think it's one of those where there's that ability for, and Brian Fitzgerald was right there, to where do you let it go to the second level guy, or do you go ahead and try and recover yourself? And per that tempo of the ball, I would like to have seen him just go get it, and not let it get to the next level, because it wasn't coming in. It didn't take that second. It took that first big hop, but it didn't, to me, it should have been, I thought, covered at that point, and we would have been able to get out of that whole, scenario after that. So, but I did think that the shifting and the motion, all that different things, that was created some challenges for sure, and to get guys in the right spot and getting in position. So, and it was a mad, scramble for the ball, and we had it. We see on film, we had it. We thought 2 different times, and it squirted out, and obviously they ended up getting it. So, but those are things we just got to keep working on it. We work on those every single week. We'll continue to work on those. That's that's how you finish games. How you don't, give them a chance offensively to put your defense in a bad spot. And now they need to answer the call when that happens, but they executed it at a high level and came up with it.
All right, Jim, then Tom Brew.
Actually, Mike set me up perfectly for that one. Coach, my question was about special teams. Actually, we've had 3 straight games now. If you go back to the Gator Bowl, in which there was a play that could have greatly altered the game in Penn State. You had the kickoff, that the field goal that barely missed. And, of course, I think there was a 15-yard flag on that onside kick this past week as well. Do you not have concerns with the special teams as you're going forward? Because as these games get tougher and it comes down to a critical play, that could be the one.
There's no question. And I think that when you get into, week 3 of the season, you're going against a top 25 football team. As you mentioned, in the last 3 games, it's all been variables there on special teams. And we have to continue to make it a tremendous focus for us and continue to be. But you're right. I mean, and that's whether it's a missed kick or not recovering an onside kick. And those are things that we, like I said, work on a consistent basis, and that will not change. It will only intensify. And but I think the thing too, as those things that keep happening and keep working on the different things that you could possibly see, we just got to keep, I think the more they happen in games, the more chance we have to teach off of it, learn from it, and keep getting better from it. But yeah, you're right. And as these games are close, and they're going to be this way, and it's part of competing at a high level is being able to function in special teams play. And we're doing a lot of good things in special teams, but as you mentioned, those are things. And then to me, the unsportsmanlike penalty is just inexcusable. So those are things that we have to stop immediately. And those guys involved in those will be, held accountable this week because of it. And you just got to be able to keep your composure. No matter what they say or do to you, it don't matter. I don't care. You just walk away and go celebrate with your teammate, which is one of the situations where we were talking to them and not us, and that's what we don't do. And in that situation there, it was just responding to what they did to us. And so you just can't. And we call those selfish penalties. When that happens, we have a high price to pay for that for our guys. So can't happen. We got to be moving forward in that area, eliminate those mistakes so we can win these big games that we have coming up.
All right, Tom, then Rick Bozich.
Coach, a couple of things about Nick, if you don't mind. How much does his sort of quarterback mentality and being a quarterback in this league sort of help him so far, you think, in doing what he's doing? And then secondly, if you could, how do you feel the logistics has gone so far with him up in the box and the guys on the sidelines in regards to making everything run smoothly?
In regards to him playing the position in this conference, I think that's a major benefit. I think just understanding, what a quarterback goes through. He started in this league and prepared, each and every week. And I just think those things are very, very valuable to have, especially when you're young. And so to me, that just gives even our own quarterbacks just that sense of confidence of knowing that he's walked a mile in their shoes. He's been in their position. He understands it. And also, I think when you play that position, I think it's kind of like being a linebacker calling the defense, and that's my background is playing that position at linebacker. It's just a different understanding of how that position drives the whole side of that ball. And being a quarterback and how that you work with that position, you coach that position, you play that position, you know how they think, and just being able to relate and help them handle. Because that's one thing I think he does a really good job. So you kind of mesh this into the other question about this communication with the staff, and because he's in the press box, he's not on the field down there with our quarterbacks, but just does a great job getting them on headsets when it's necessary and talks them through what they need to be talked through and communicates. One thing I really appreciate about Nate, he's just always steady. I'm not that way. I'm pretty high strung, as you know. So he's a good compliment for me in that regard. So just no matter what, just stays there and doesn't get flustered. Whether we, even if I'm getting on him about whatever, he just stays locked in and does a great job of keeping calmness to the staff and which is good. And you need that. And quarterbacks have to have that. So that's another thing that I think how he coaches the quarterbacks and how he manages those guys. And he'll get after them when he needs to at the right time. But I just think that helps the communication piece. And we've got, that staff's been together a lot, and ever since I've been head coach here, so it's going our 4th season together as that collective group, for the most part, it's been together, so the core of those guys without question. So Coach Hiller's been here since the beginning, Coach Hart, and Coach Hurd, and all those guys, and so Coach Wright's new, with the tight ends, but just a lot of continuity with Nick, and those core four guys have all been here together. So just really think that helps, and they kind of know each other well and know how each other thinks, So which is a big reason why I made the decision that I made, to promote him from within and give him this opportunity, So I think that adds to the chemistry and the coordination of working together and solving problems and trying to help us score points.
All right, Rick and Paul Gable.
Yeah, Tom, Indiana had only beaten Penn State once until this year. Now you're going against a Michigan team. The record has been somewhere. It's been difficult for Indiana to beat Michigan. Is that just sports writer talk, or do you have to create a belief in your team when you go against these quote bigger name programs that have had tremendous amount of success against Indiana?
Well, it's definitely sports writer talk. I mean, it's going to be talked about quite a bit. I mean, the record is what it is. We talk about things pretty openly and honestly in our program, and this kind of, even in fall camp, have been challenging our guys about the way they think. I'm always a big believer in mindset. We talk about that all the time, but just more specifically, talking about the past not being predictive, and I don't believe it is unless you don't change what you do on a daily basis, and then it will become predictive, And so, but just to assume it's going to be predictive just because it's always been that way is what people will talk about, and they'll give the stats, and the past is real, but it's not predictive unless you don't do something to change it. And so, to me, it's what you do next. We talk about that even as a football team, and Coach Sheridan addressed it with the offense about that piece, and it's what you do next is the key. So it'll be made, I'm sure, a big deal about in some ways. We just choose to use all the things that are talked about in a positive way to motivate and to lead us. But the bottom line is it's about us playing our best football. And to me, that's the focus. We haven't done that yet. I feel like that, we've had opportunities, since I've been here against Michigan and haven't been able to finish those opportunities, much like with Penn State in the past. And so it's about, like I've told our team again this morning, doesn't matter what I believe. I told them what I believe, but it's what they believe and how are they going to prepare, and ultimately how are they going to perform on game day. That's what matters. And so it's our preparation is going to be the key. We have to clean up the mistakes that we've made the last couple of weeks and keep getting better, execute at a very, very high level, and we have to finish. And so to me, that's how you create the change you're looking for. And we're in a position here that we, I expected us to be in and talked about being in even the last couple of years. And so now it's here, and we have to be able to continue to elevate our focus, elevate our attention to detail, elevate our preparation process, which is why our one word for this week is elevate. And so to me, that's what we have to be able to do to allow ourselves to create a different outcome that we've seen in the past.
All right, Paul and Griffin.
Hey, Coach, kind of follow up on that. You've talked many times about how special this team is, how the culture has changed. And, last year, 8 wins. This year, you open up with a top 10, with a win over a top 10 team. Can you put your finger on when the expectations changed from wanting to win to expecting to win? How exciting is it to see the culture change, not only inside your locker room, but also across the state and on a national landscape for you guys?
Well, I thought it started changing last season, without question. I would say the first step was going on the road and winning at Maryland, a game that, came down to the final play, and where we had to be able to get a stop, up by 6 points at that point. And Reese Taylor got a huge interception to seal the win. And then we went on and played on the road again and found a way to win at Nebraska, and then finished out the regular season with a big road win in overtime at Purdue. And to me, each one of those collective wins allowed us to start changing outcomes, and you think about, we'd won 5 each of the previous 2 seasons, and then you say, okay, you take those 5 wins plus the 3 that we got that I just mentioned at Maryland, at Purdue, at Nebraska, those 3 road games, and got us to 8, which dramatically changed the way our program was both viewed and the way everything was just completely different. When you find a way to win those very games that we in the past had found a way not to win, or had just fallen short. So to me, that's really what, and then once you start experiencing that, then it just starts growing, and we had adversity, and we had different players in and out, and injuries and challenges, just like we're having this year, and we'll have pretty much probably every year. That's what life's about. And so, but finding ways to finish those games, and we talk about that quite a bit, So, and I just think then when you start experiencing it, then you start to say, okay, what's next? Well, next we wanted to be able to, beat a top 25 team or beat a top 10 team. And we did that week 1. And so now you start experiencing. And so everything you've been talking about to your players now changes from me saying it and me trying to convince them and create that belief within them before it happens to now we just did it. And they've experienced it. They experienced those games we mentioned from last year. They experienced the game we just had this week 1 against Penn State. And, bottom line is now, that changes the way you think about the future. And you start expecting to win those games instead of, that proverbial, wait for something bad to happen. Now you're waiting for something good to happen, because you expect something good to happen because of what you've experienced, in the past. So I think that's where the change is created. So can you pinpoint and say this was this one play or this one game? Probably not, but it was definitely a collection of those things I've just mentioned. And even the falling short at, in the Gator Bowl. I think those are variables that play into creating the change that you want. And the change, for it to be lasting change, you have to really structurally, have things in place. And, we didn't finish in that game, in the end of the 2019 season there in Gainesville or Jacksonville. So bottom line is that to me is what this is about. And our guys are starting to experience it. And now you have to, take it to the next level of the expectations as they are raised to be able to elevate your focus, attention to detail, and the way you prepare.
All right, Griffin, then Zach.
Coach, you just talked about that culture change, and now you guys are 13th in the country. You're continuing to build up the program. Where is it that you're satisfied and you can say, I have finally built the program to where I want it to be? Is there a tangible goal or something you can pinpoint as you look towards the future?
Oh, I don't think there's ever someone you say, oh, hey, this is everything we ever wanted to do. But obviously, we've been very specific about wanting to build a football program that competes for Big Ten championships. So we want to win the Big Ten. I mean, that's the reality. And so to me, that's the most tangible thing that you can put out there, I guess. And so, but bottom line is that, you have goals and you have a vision and you have a clear picture of where you want to be. And conviction-driven leadership is based on a vision of perfection. And so we're chasing after that and trying to do everything we can to elevate this program and go into Big Ten.
All right, Zach, and then we'll wrap up with Ross.
Tom, I know we've asked this in a couple different ways. You talked about this at a couple different times, but with tomorrow actually being election day, I guess just what's the structure of this week for you? I know you've talked about how it's important for you that your whole team's registered to vote, and there's been both at the IU level and the Big Ten level, kind of a push to be more civically involved this year. So what will, I guess, just the structure of this week look like for you guys with tomorrow obviously being a day off?
Yeah, so it's different. So tomorrow is our off day. You have one day that's off during a 7-day period. So usually for us, that's Sunday for the players. So we brought them in on Sunday and had our guys lift. We obviously got back late Saturday night. They came and lifted on Sunday, watched the film with the coaches. We had team meeting, position meetings. We had special teams meetings on Sunday, and we were able to go over the game, get that all wrapped up. And then I brought them in this morning to do a team meeting to introduce Michigan and to start the week off for them. And then had special teams meetings for that and some other things within position groups. And then bringing them back tonight for practice this evening, which is something we don't usually do. We usually have a walkthrough type period on a Monday. So, but we will practice tonight. This will be our normal Tuesday practice will take place this evening. And then we will give them tomorrow off, which is a mandated day off from the NCAA. And so everybody in America will have this time. And those that haven't voted yet will all go vote, and I'll be one of those. And so, but a lot of our guys have already voted because this is not where they live, so they voted absentee. We did that whole process, had every one of our players registered, and they've all voted. There's a handful that can vote tomorrow. And so coaches included. So just think it's critical. It's part of our democracy. It's a privilege and a responsibility to be a part of it. And we want to challenge our guys to vote based on the principles and things that they believe in. We don't tell them how to vote, but educate them on being an informed, part of this process. So I just think it's important, and we want to make sure that they're doing everything we can do to help encourage that, and that's what the NCAA is doing as well. And so, but because of that, there'll be no football activities on Tuesday, which is unusual, the week of a game. And so we'll be meeting as a staff and getting everything prepared for that. And then we'll come back on Wednesday and have a normal Wednesday practice, and normal Thursday, normal Friday. So really up to the first 3 days are really where it's different. You just shift around your off day. And so kind of a nice little change up in some ways, just because we've been on a little bit of routine, but we have to adapt, and we have, and I expect our guys to do a great job handling that. And we'll talk about even tonight about the importance of this and what it's about, and even just the importance of understanding that we all have different opinions and different views and different things, and we respect that from each other. And that's what LEO is all about.
All right, Ross, last one.
Hey, Tom, I don't think there's many coaches in college football that celebrate with their team after wins more than you do, and kind of fun to watch from the outside. Just with all the unknowns of this season, and not even knowing if you have a season, have you been able to enjoy the first couple weeks here more than normal, or are you so locked in that it is what it is? We've gotten two nice wins here to start the year, and here we go for Michigan.
Well, I've really tried to enjoy them. I think life's too short, and it's hard. This has been hard process we've been through, and it's hard enough at this level to win football games, and let alone when you have to do all the different things we have had to do and had to deal with leading up to these opportunities. And I think you also just feel blessed that you're able to play, and every week's not guaranteed, and we've seen what happened up in Wisconsin and how quickly it can slip away, and things can happen, and it's tough, it's hard, and it's just we're no different. We're just one situation away from being in that same spot. So I just think that it's almost like that locker room after the game is kind of the one time when it kind of feels back to normal. We ran out on the field at Rutgers, and it was weird. I'll be honest with you. So there was nobody in our half of the stadium. No one. The only ones we were running to were just the people that were on the field with us, and the handful, and nobody. And it's just different. Now once the game starts, it kind of feels you're just playing football. And they got the piped in crowd noise, and so it doesn't feel that different. But boy, that was unique. I'm telling you. But after the game, and that's where you're just like, gosh, I want to enjoy our guys. I mean, that to me, that's part of all this. And if you can't enjoy it, we're missing something here. I get it. We got to put it behind us and focus on the next opponent. But that locker room and that trip home and this time together, this is special memories you're building with your players and guys that you love so much, care about so much, and invested so much into them. And yes, we're going to enjoy this and celebrate together and hug on each other. And we've all been tested, so we don't all we just been screaming and yelling at each other for several hours. But that's one beauty of having the consistent testing. I think that helps quite a bit. So but at the same time, it gives us a chance to really just enjoy special time. And these wins are big now. They're hard. It's hard to win at this level. So we're going to enjoy every one of them, and that's not going to change.
Thanks, Tom.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate you guys. Have an awesome day. LEO.